Good evening and a warm welcome to the news live on Rupavahini Channel I. I'm Shara Mascreeners.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Vinipurarachi, and now let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
Schools in the western and northwestern provinces have been closed down till the 30th of this month. Restrictions on state services as well. Several areas in the Gampaha, Kalutara and Trincomalee districts have been isolated. The health divisions warns the general public to remain vigilant on the spread of the COVID-19 disease. India records the highest number of COVID-19 related deaths for the 5th consecutive day. The President visits Haldumulla to inquire on the progress of the Gamasamaga Pilisandara program. The Prime Minister reiterates that the government is committed to realize the sustainable development objectives in the face of the corona pandemic. An Asian woman wins for the first time the award for the best direction at the Oscar Awards presentation ceremony.
On to the stories in detail now, starting off with local news. The Ministry of Education has decided to close all schools, preschools and pirivenas in the western and northwestern provinces till the 30th of this month. This was disclosed by Minister Professor G.L. Pires at a media briefing held today. Minister Professor G.L. Pires said that academic activities in schools, preschools and pirivenas in the western and northwestern provinces will not be conducted till Friday the 30th of this month. However, there will not be any change in conducting of classes in schools and other relevant institutions in other parts of the island. He has also reiterated that it is extremely important for the students and the parents as well as the staff to strictly adhere to health guidelines. The government has decided to restrict once again the convening of state employees to work, taking into consideration of the spread of the COVID disease. The relevant circular is scheduled to be released tomorrow. Minister Janaka Bandara Thennakoon says that accordingly the currently enforced circular relating to the continuous convening of the government officials for duties in state institutions will be suspended from tomorrow. He adds that the methodologies pertaining to bringing 50% of employees to work in relevant institutions could be followed according to the wishes of the heads of the institutions. Minister Janaka Bandara Thennakoon said that they have taken measures to grant opportunities for the government servants to fulfill their duties without destabilizing the state service during the COVID pandemic. Accordingly, the minister said that he has instructed his secretary to deploy in service 50% of state employees. He further said that the relevant circular in this connection will be released by the ministry.
The Bak Full Moon Poi Day, which commemorates the second visit of the Lord Buddha to Sri Lanka, falls on today. Many significant events in the Buddha Sasana were reported to have been occurred on this Full Moon Poi Day. According to the Sasana history, the Lord Buddha has arrived in Nagadeepa on a day like today to settle a dispute between Naga kings of Chulodara and Mahodara over the custody of a gem-studded chair. It is also on a Bak Full Moon Poi Day that the Maniak Raja had invited the Lord Buddha to visit Kalaniya. The historical accounts also points out that Prince Siddhartha has observed an old person, the first of 4 premonitions of the sansaric existence, on a Bak Full Moon Poi Day. The 209th in the series of Amadam Sisilasa Dhamma sermons being organized on every Poi Day was conducted at the temple trees today. A special feature of today's event has been today's participation of only selected number of persons, including Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, Madam Shiranti Rajapaksa and close family associates. The Dhamma sermon has also delivered by Director of the Postgraduate Institute on Buddhist and Pali Studies affiliated to the Kelaniya University, Senior Professor Venerable Bedavachi Dhammajoti Thera. Dhamma factors pertaining to a conductive state governance based on Chakkavati Sihanada, Kutadanta Sutras and the Gandathinta Jataka were discussed on this occasion. Secretary to the Ministry of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs, Professor Kapila Gunawardana, was also present on this occasion. The Bak Full Moon Poi Day Sattapramavasha religious program organized by Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation was telecast from the historic Nagadeepa Puran Raja Mahaviharasthane throughout the day today. Many features including Dhamma sermons, Dhamma discussions and community treatment services were included. Religious programs have been conducted in many viharasthanas in the island today, giving prominence to protective health guidelines. However, our correspondent says that there has been a substantial decrease in the number of devotees participating in religious observances in many viharasthanas. A low turnout of devotees was observed at main places of Buddhist worship, including historic Jayasri Mahabodhi, the Anuradhapura sacred site and the Sri Dalanda Maligava. Seal campaigns and other religious observances have not been conducted today at Kaluthara Bodhi and Muthiangare Rajamaha Viharasthana as a result of the corona pandemic.
In other stories, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa visited the Villamvita village at Haldamulla in Badulla district this morning to inspect the progress of the first discussion with the village program. The President launched the Gamasamaga Pilisandara program on September 25th last year with the objective to inquire into the plights of the residents and finding solutions after bringing them to the attention of the officials at the location. Villamvita village in Haldamulla, which was identified as the most remote divisional secretariat division in the Badulla district, was the first area selected for the program. The purpose of the President's visit today was to review the progress of the projects after 7 months. President Rajapaksa's observation tour commenced at the Katabosthana grounds constructed by the Sri Lanka Army. 2 buses plying from Haputhale to Villamvita will be deployed from today. The 2 buses plying through 8 villages twice a day will provide a solution to the transportation problem in the area. The President inspected the new house built by the Army, which was damaged in a wild elephant attack. The President spoke to several land deed holders who have been benefited from the Gamasamaga Pilisandara program and instructed them to continue with their cultivations. The elephant fence in Villamvita village, which is 6 kilometers in length, was inactive for nearly 2 years. Now the electric fence has been repaired and reactivated. The people of the village have been entrusted with the responsibility of protecting the elephant fence. 6 persons have been appointed per each kilometer for this purpose, with a monthly allowance of 7,500 rupees per person. The road extending from Nikapotha towards the Villamvita school has been carpeted. The rehabilitation of the 14 kilometers long road that connects Koslanda, Vallavaya from Villamvita is underway. The President also inquired into the water project that is being constructed as a solution to the drinking water issue in the area. The electricity of Akkarasiriyaya, Kumarathanna and Villamvita villages have been supplied at a cost of 54 million rupees. The Ceylon Electricity Board has taken steps to supply electricity to 83 houses within 3 months. The President also spoke to people gathered at the roadside and inquired into their well-being. The President, who inspected the completed and ongoing development projects and road development activities, stressed the need to complete the projects expeditiously so that they can be handed over to the people. The Mahasangha and the residents extended their gratitude to the President Rajapaksa, since many of the issues faced by the people of the village have been resolved following the arrival of the President. The President paid his attention to the requests made by the people's representatives to develop the Bandaravela urban plan and Haputhale city in a way to attract tourists. Uva Province Governor A.J.M. Muzammil, Minister of State Thenuka Vidanagamage, Members of Parliament Sudarshana Denipitiya, Chamara Sampath Dasanayaka and G. Thissakutti Arachi, people's representatives of the area and government officials were also present on the occasion.
And meanwhile, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the government is firmly committed to realize the sustainable development goals by successfully controlling the coronavirus expansion. The Prime Minister had made these remarks addressing the 77th session of the United Nations Asia and Pacific Economic and Social Commission through video technology today. The theme of this year's session is Restoration of Crisis through Cooperation in the Asia and Pacific region. More attention of the current session has been focused on the global corona pandemic. It also focuses on climatic change, debt relief, investments, equal health institutions, sustainable development and regional cooperation. The Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, addressing the session, has further stated that Sri Lanka has achieved striking progress in the control of COVID-19 pandemic. He added that this fact has been amply demonstrated through lower death ratios, identification of infected persons and higher feasibilities in quarantine and treatment of patients. The government has been successful in continuously implementing economic activities in many sectors in the country in the midst of the pandemic. Export procedures have been carried out continuously and the tourism industry was reopened in January of this year. The central bank has played a pioneering role in the refinancing program by providing many relief to the general public. Similarly, Sri Lanka has extended assistance to the vaccination programs being carried out in developing countries, expanding of overseas employment opportunities as well as the promotion of environmental and health-friendly measures in the tourism industry. The Prime Minister has also stressed on the importance of the United Nations Asia-Pacific and Economic and Social Commission extending in contributions to encourage investment for the emerging nations and formulating of conducive marketing conditions. He also commended the timely effort of the organization to unite the member states for a productive inter-regional discussion of the control of the pandemic. The current session of the UNSC ends on the 29th of this month. And Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Sudat Samarvida urges the public to conduct in a responsible manner within the society and restrict their movements only for essential work, considering the emerging COVID-19 threat in the country. He made these remarks while addressing a media briefing held today.
We are observing that more and more COVID-19 cases are reporting all over the country. In many districts, it is several hundreds, close to 700 to 800 cases per day, and with that mainly through clusters and also some scattered cases are reporting. So with that, the best thing people can do is minimize their social activities, not to come into the society and stay at home as much as possible and behave responsibly all the time. But we can see, as this is a long weekend, having 3 holidays, the people are more and more out of their houses and traveling all over the country, and also because there is a prayer day, people are gathering in religious premises. So this is not a good thing to do at this moment, because the COVID-19 is spreading all over the country, and also with the experience of other countries that we can see that this disease can spread very rapidly and also in a threatening way, that the healthcare system will not be able to cope up with all the cases. So in this situation, it is very, very important that people behave very responsibly and also very safely, not to contract the disease, and also if you are by accident an infected person, not to spread the disease to others. Unlike in the past days, this time that the COVID-19 virus is affecting more and more younger people, even the children, and also that more and more younger people are depending on critical care and oxygen at this time. So because of that, in order to prevent the disease and also to prevent this seriousness of the disease, you should stay at home as much as possible, and also should behave responsibly whenever that you are out of your house.
Stories for you from India now. As India battles a devastating second wave of coronavirus, several nations, including the United States, the United Kingdom and Germany, continue to support India's struggling healthcare system to cope with the increasing demand for medical oxygen and hospital beds. India recorded close to 353,000 new coronavirus cases today, breaking its own global record for the 5th straight day, and 2,800 new deaths, its highest daily figure for fatalities.
The international community is stepping in to help India as it battles a devastating second wave of COVID-19. The US, Britain, France and Germany have all announced they will be sending medical supplies to the country. As cases surge, breaking new records on Monday, hospitals across India are running out of medical oxygen and beds. Patients are dying for want of treatment while they queue outside hospitals waiting to be seen. Britain's Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab.
We're sending out an emergency shipment of over 600 items of equipment. They're ventilators, oxygen concentrators, and the aim is to provide the support that the Indians need at their hour of need, really, if judging by the distressing scenes we've seen in many of the hospitals in India.
The US is sending raw materials to help India manufacture the Covishield vaccine, along with medical equipment and protective gear to help India respond to what has been billed a COVID tsunami. There have also been calls for the US to send its AstraZeneca vaccines, that have not been approved for use domestically. President Joe Biden said on Twitter, quote, "Just as India sent assistance to the United States as our hospitals were strained early in the pandemic, we are determined to help India in its time of need." Germany and France have also pledged to send oxygen and medical supplies, and the European Commission said it would respond to an appeal from Delhi for help. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on Sunday a, quote, "storm of infections had shaken his country." He himself is facing criticism for failing to prepare health systems for this latest wave and allowing for big religious and political gatherings to take place. The capital Delhi extended its lockdown on Monday to try to arrest the surge. There are concerns that new variants of the virus emerging in India could undermine progress made elsewhere in fighting the pandemic.
And in Europe, US tourists vaccinated against COVID-19 will be able to visit the European Union in the coming months, as European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen said that in an interview yesterday.
The European Union plans to open its doors to Americans who have been vaccinated by this summer. That's according to European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen on Sunday. She told the New York Times, quote, "The Union's 27 members would accept unconditionally all those who are vaccinated with vaccines that are approved by the European Medicines Agency." Von der Leyen did not say when exactly travel could resume, but mentioned the agency has approved all 3 vaccines used in the U.S. It's been over a year since the EU largely shut down non-essential travel. Earlier this month, the EU agreed to launch vaccination travel passes to make travel easier for people who have been vaccinated, recovered from infection, or tested negative. Also on Sunday, the EU's vaccine task force chief said they are confident they will be able to produce enough vaccines to achieve its target for immunity of its adult population by the middle of July.
And in Italy, restaurants, cinemas and concert halls partially reopened across Italy today in a boost for coronavirus hit business as Parliament debates the government's €220 billion EU-funded recovery plan. After months of stop-start restrictions imposed to manage its second and third waves of COVID-19, Italy hopes the latest easing will mark the start of something like a normal summer.
Lorenzo Campagna travelled from his small village outside Rome on Monday for breakfast. Restrictions on many businesses, including restaurants, bars and cinemas, relaxed in many Italian regions from Monday as the government slowly rolls back curbs in low-infection areas.
Finally, people are tired, they want to go out. In my small village, the piazzas are always empty, but now, since yesterday evening, they are full once again.
14 of Italy's 20 regions will become moderate risk, so-called yellow zones. It's after weeks of being designated as higher risk, orange and red zones. Restaurants and bars in these areas will be able to resume table service in outdoor areas, while cinemas, theatres and concert halls will also be able to reopen from Monday in the yellow zones, albeit with strict curbs on attendance. Restrictions on business and movement have been in place for most of this year in Italy. The country has the 7th highest death toll in the world and is still reporting hundreds of fatalities every day. Some on Monday remained cautious and hoped that Italians would behave responsibly despite the loosening of the rules.
And to bring you the COVID-19 pandemic update here at home now. The Imbulgoda and Katudampe Grama Niladhari divisions in the Ratgama Police Division in Galle district have been isolated with effect from 8 p.m. today. In addition, several Grama Niladhari divisions in the Gampa, Kaluthara and Trincomalee districts have also been isolated with effect from 8 p.m. today to encounter the spread of the corona pandemic. The Grama Niladhari divisions of the Polhena, Hiralugedara and Kaluaggala in the Kotadeniyawa Police Division in the Gampa district, as well as the Aswannavatta East Grama Niladhari division in the Minuwangoda Police Division have also been isolated. The other areas that have come under isolation were Miriswatta, Palavatta North and Palavatta East Grama Niladhari divisions in the Nigathana Police Division in the Kaluthara district and Poompahar Grama Niladhari division in the Trincomalee Police Division in Trincomalee District. In addition, the Dambulla Economic Centre premises will also be isolated for a period of 2 weeks. The number of corona-infected persons in Mallavagedara, Pulhen and Polwata Grama divisions in the Divulapitiya Medical Officer of Health Division has increased to 116. The infected persons have been identified according to PCR tests carried out on 297 persons on the 24th of this month. Earlier it has been identified as 68 persons were afflicted. As a result of the detention of one COVID-19 infected officer at the police station in Meegawatha, Sapugaskanda, 41 other officials of the police station have been subjected to PCR tests. Duties of the police station are currently being conducted from the Naga Rukkagama Viharasthaniya premises, that is, in Meegawatha. Meanwhile, 12 corona-afflicted patients have been found from Watawala area in Ambagamuwa Medical Officer of the Health Division. Governor of the Eastern Province, Anuradha Hampat, says that it has been decided to close down all schools in the Trincomalee Educational Circuit until further notice. Meanwhile, 13 more corona patients have been detected in 350 PCR and antigen tests conducted in Kantale. It has also been found out in PCR tests conducted in Kirindavela Week Fair that 8 businessmen were also afflicted with the COVID-19 disease. 21 COVID patients were also detected in 171 antigen tests conducted at the same location today. In PCR tests conducted on 53 persons in Vallavaya, 46 of them were found to have been afflicted with the COVID-19 disease. Officials of the Hatton Police Station and public health inspectors of the Dikkoya Urban Council have taken measures to halt the final match of a soccer tournament scheduled to be conducted at the Dunbar Stadium in Hatton in contravention to the health guidelines. Trains have been operated without stopovers at the Ganewatha railway station due to the isolation of 5 villagers in Ganewatha. However, according to the request of the health authorities, only the office train was granted permission to stop at the railway station from tomorrow. Services being provided by the Verahara office of the Department of Motor Traffic have been restricted. Accordingly, the service recipients are being able to find out the times and the services available at the driving license division from a screen on display. The dates and times will be provided after 12 noon from the 27th of this month to the 13th of next month. The Ministry of Education has announced that tests on admission of students to sports schools in the year 2021 have been postponed indefinitely. Meanwhile, the head office of the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau will remain closed tomorrow and the day after. The reason being is the affliction of the COVID-19 disease to an employee in the office. However, it has been decided to conduct duties with a limited number of staff in the Korean Employment Division and in the division to obtain the first and final approval. 177 persons who have violated quarantine laws have been arrested yesterday. A group of persons who have failed to follow quarantine laws in the Meegoda Special Economic Centre have been sternly warned. Residents in Mount Lavani area have also been enlightened on the quarantine laws today. Operations have been conducted by Kathura Police Station today to detect persons travelling on roads without wearing face masks. Stern warnings have been given to persons who have failed to adhere to protective health measures. An operation to identify pedestrians who do not follow health guidelines was held in Hinguragoda today. Accordingly, motorcyclists, three-wheelers and buses have been subjected to tests. Several persons who did not wear face masks were arrested, others were warned. The Kalathura North Police Station have also warned several persons who failed to wear face masks. Another 892 COVID-19 patients were detected in the island today. 266 fully recovered patients have left the hospitals today. The number of patients recovered from COVID-19 has increased to 94,577, which is a percentage of 93.48. Another 7,050 are undergoing treatment.
And meanwhile, Parliamentarian Nalin Bandara says that he has made a statement pertaining to lack of adequate quantities of AstraZeneca vaccine for the delivery of second dose without making an inquiry on the relevant sources. He made these remarks at a media briefing yesterday. Parliamentarian Nalin Bandara said that Sri Lanka has received 1.3 million COVID vaccines. He has also said that out of this number, only 650,000 doses could be delivered. The MP further said that, however, the government says that vaccine doses have been given to 930,000 persons. If that is so, the government should have 300,000 vaccines in excess. The parliamentarian said that government may have in excess only 150,000 doses. He has challenged to deliver the vaccines next week. We at the national television has inquired him on the background of circumstances that had motivated him to make such a statement. When the national television inquired him on the evidence that he had led to make such a statement, the MP said that he has only stated that if such health divisions is in possession of the required quantities of vaccines, they should be delivered. Upon another inquiry regarding the health division having that possession in 350,000 doses, the MP has responded saying that they have evidence to say that this was not true. When the media persons asked him why he was making such a statement, the MP said that government do not deliver the vaccine as they do not possess the required quantities. The parliamentarian, in response to another inquiry to his statements are not based on scientific evidence, he has also pointed out on the alleged inability to give prominence to health divisions in the inoculation process. Chairman of the Committee for the Importation of the COVID Vaccine, Senior Presidential Advisor Lalit Veeratunga has made a clarification as to how the future vaccination program should take place. Chairman of the Committee for the Importation of the COVID Vaccine, Senior Presidential Advisor Lalit Veeratunga said that initially there had been speculations in the health sector regarding the provisions of the vaccine within 4 weeks' time. However, subsequent research has found out that it was appropriate to deliver the second dose between 12 and 16 days. The chairman of the committee said that they have given the first dose on the 29th of January, that was nearly 3 months ago. He has also that they were able to vaccinate 925,242 persons. He also said that 356,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine are currently available. The chairman further said that second dose will have to be given to the 925,242 persons who received the first dose. He added that the minister in charge is taking necessary measures to provide the second vaccine to the first week of next month.
Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says that investors have come forward to invest $880 million in 54 projects in the country last year. He further says that the approval has been given for the investment of $188 million in 29 projects. Approval is to be speedily extended on the remaining investments as well. 854 projects have been implemented in the local tourism sector during the past 10 years. Sri Lanka has been able to receive an income of $7,026 million through these projects. Minister Ranatunga also said that engagement of investors in 54 projects last year could be considered as a victory. The government has focused attention to develop all sectors pertaining to local tourism sector, including provision of infrastructure facilities and expansion of investment opportunities. A special coordinating unit has been established for coordination of investments in the tourism sector. A program to appreciate officials in the state sector who have extended support to intensify tourist investments in Sri Lanka through their involvement with the coordinating unit for a long period was held at the Cinnamon Grand Hotel recently. Evaluation medals were presented to officials in 37 state institutions on this occasion. Chairman of the Tourism Development Authority, Kemali Fernando, and Secretary to the Ministry of Tourism, S. Hettiarachchi, were among those present at the occasion.
Keep Sri Lanka malaria-free.
And with that, we conclude tonight's news. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe. Good night.